When you're reading a great book or listening to an inspiring cassette, you're accessing a treasure chest filled with valuable ideas, just like you're doing with this program right now. Now consider this, if someone has a good reason for not tapping into this treasure for at least 30 minutes every day, I'd love to hear it. Also, if they have an excuse for not spending some money to buy these books and cassettes, I'd be curious to know what it is. Taking just a bit of time each day to explore these resources can bring immense value and growth into one's life. So, what could possibly be a valid reason for missing out on such a rich treasure of knowledge and inspiration? Spend the money to buy cassettes and books. This is one of the best ways you can use your money. Investing in your own education is extremely valuable. When you invest in learning, you are investing in a better future for yourself. Don't cheat yourself by avoiding spending money on your own growth. It's important to make sure you are getting the best possible future for yourself. Remember, you can learn from both positive and negative experiences. Books and cassettes can teach you valuable lessons from both good and bad situations. So make sure to invest in your education and continue to grow and improve every day. The Bible is an amazing book because it includes many human stories that teach us important lessons. These stories are divided into two main groups. The first group contains examples of people who did good things. We are encouraged to follow their actions and behavior. By looking at their lives, we can learn what to do in various situations. The second group consists of warnings about people who made mistakes or did bad things. We are advised not to repeat their actions. By studying their stories, we can learn what not to do and avoid making the same errors. Together, these stories provide us with a lot of valuable information on how to live our lives wisely and make better choices. I think it also means that if your story ever gets written in a book, make sure it is used as a good example, not as a warning. All the successful people I know and work with around the world are avid readers. They read a lot because they are very curious and always want to learn more. This curiosity drives them to read continuously. This is a common trait among successful people. Here's a useful phrase: all leaders are readers. They read to gain knowledge and stay informed. In addition to reading, they also listen to cassette programs, especially when they are in the car or at times when reading isn't possible. These cassettes help them learn new ideas and skills easily. Using these resources, they constantly improve themselves and stay ahead. Did you know that there are cassettes and books available that teach you how to be stronger, more decisive, a better speaker, and a more effective leader? These resources can also help you have a better influence on others. Become more loving, develop your personality, get rich, develop influence, and become more sophisticated. However, many people don't use them. How would you explain that? It's surprising because these materials can help people improve in so many areas of their lives. They provide valuable knowledge and practical tips for personal and professional growth. Despite their availability, it seems many people don't take advantage of these resources. Maybe they don't know about them, or they don't realize how helpful they can be. Some might feel they don't have the time to invest in reading or listening to these materials, while others might not see the immediate benefits and therefore don't prioritize them. Did you know that hundreds of successful people have written their stories in books and told how they did it on cassettes, and people don't want to listen? How would you explain that? The guy is probably very busy. He might say something like, well, if you worked where I work, you would understand. By the time I finally get home, it's already late. I need to grab something to eat, watch a little TV to relax, and then go to bed. I can't stay up all night reading. This is the same guy who is struggling to pay his bills. He works hard and is very sincere in what he does. However, it's important to remember that you can be sincere and work hard all your life and still end up broke. To avoid this, you need to do more than just work hard. You need to be a good reader and a good listener. Reading and listening help you learn new skills, gain knowledge, and find better ways to handle your finances and other aspects of life. It's not enough to just work hard. You have to keep learning and improving yourself too. At least he could listen to a good cassette on his way home, right? You don't have to spend the entire night reading or listening to educational cassettes. However, if you're struggling financially, doing so might be a good idea. All I'm asking is for you to spend just 30 minutes a day on this. If you can, try to stretch it to an hour, but at least commit to 30 minutes. Use this time to hear or read something challenging and educational. Doing this for at least 30 minutes a day can make a big difference in your knowledge and skills. And here's the next key. Do it every day without fail. You can miss a meal, but don't miss your 30 minutes of learning. You might be able to go without a meal, but you can't go without new ideas, examples, and inspiration. There's a phrase from the Bible that says humans cannot live on bread alone or just food. The next most important thing after bread is words. Words nourish your mind and soul. To be healthy and successful, people need both food and words. Make sure you get a good daily dose of words. I once told my staff that some people read so little that they suffer from rickets of the mind. This means their minds are weak and undernourished because they don't read or learn enough. Also, remember to properly feed your mind by having a good balance. Don't just read or listen to the easy stuff because you can't live on mental candy. When I first met Mr. Schoaf, he encouraged me to start my own library. He told me to become self-educated. He said that standard education will give you standard results. Look at those results and decide if that's what you want. If you want something better than standard, you must educate yourself. So I began building my library, and now I have one of the best. Mr. Schoaf recommended a few books to get me started, and they made a big difference. Becoming self-educated means seeking out challenging and informative materials that help you grow and improve. I already had a Bible, which is 66 books, so that was a pretty good start. My parents made sure I studied the Bible well. But the first book Mr. Schoaf told me to get was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you don't have it already, it's a great book to add to your library. Earl Nightingale even put it on cassette. The title itself, Think and Grow Rich, should catch your interest. I read it several dozen times. Mr. Schoaf told me that repetition is the mother of skill. If you had seen my bank account at the time, you would have known I needed a lot of that kind of repetition. This book helped me learn important lessons about success and wealth, and reading it repeatedly made those lessons stick. Some of the ideas in that book made big changes in my life. Looking back now, I realize the book was worth thousands, yet I bought it for just a few dollars. I learned a very valuable lesson. There is a big difference between cost and value. Before I met Mr. Schoaf, I used to ask, how much does it cost? After meeting him, I learned to ask, how much is it worth? When I started basing my decisions on worth instead of cost, everything changed for the better. The next book Mr. Schoaf recommended was about nutrition. He said, study nutrition because vitality is important for success. He explained that some people don't do well because they don't feel well. It's not that they lack intelligence, but they lack energy and vitality. Good health plays a key role in achieving success. Mr. Schoaf emphasized the importance of nutrition. And though some health books can be a bit strange, you can sift through and find the valuable information. There are also cassettes on nutrition that can be very helpful. By learning about nutrition, you can improve your health, which in turn can improve your overall success and well-being. Remember, don't be a follower, be a student. If someone tells you they read a book and suggests you follow its advice, don't just accept it blindly. Instead, read at least 2 books on the topic and form your own opinion. It's important to be a student, not just a follower. Take care of yourself, both your mind and body. There's a saying from the Bible that reminds us that the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. This means that you need to work on strengthening both your mind and your body. Imagine waking up in the morning full of enthusiasm, ready to tackle the day, but your body feels too tired to get out of bed. To avoid this, make sure to prioritize your health. Taking care of your physical well-being is just as important as keeping your mind sharp and motivated. The books and tapes a person is show what they care about the most. It's interesting to visit someone's house and look through their collection. What do the books you own say about you? Read as many books as you can, but don't worry about reading them all at once. Try reading 2 books a week. In 10 years, you would have read 1,000 books. Do you think reading 1,000 books in the next 10 years would change your life? The answer is yes, of course. It would have a huge impact on every part of your life. The good news is that it's only 2 books a week. But if you haven't been reading 2 books a week for the last 10 years, you're behind by about 1,000 books. Imagine how hard it will be to compete in the future if you're 1,000 books behind. You might not be ready for some challenges, or you might miss out on opportunities because you don't have the knowledge you need. You could lack important skills, insights, and values and miss out on a better lifestyle. This could happen if you don't read enough. Remember, the books you don't read won't help you at all. Here are 3 ways to learn how to change anything in your life, whether it's your direction or any part of your life. Number 1, read. Become a good reader. All the successful people I know and work with around the world are good readers. Their curiosity drives them to read constantly because they want to know more. They read and read, never stopping. To change your life, you must read. Number 2, listen and learn. Don't just follow what others say blindly. listen to different lectures, including mine, and then make up your own mind. Be a student, not just a follower. This means thinking for yourself and deciding what's best for you. Number 3, learn from others' experiences. One way to learn is from your own experiences, but a better way is to learn from other people's experiences. Reading books allows you to learn from the experiences of others. Just one book might save you 5 years of trying to figure things out on your own. Did you know there are books that can teach you how to be stronger, more decisive, a better speaker, a leader, and how to have a positive impact on other people? There are even books on how to develop your personality. Despite all these valuable resources, many people don't read them. How would you explain that, especially when they know how to read? Also, did you know that hundreds of successful people have written their stories in books? They have shared their experiences and the steps they took to become successful. Yet many people don't take the time to read these books. How would you explain why people choose not to read these stories, even though they have access to them and the ability to read? It's surprising that so much valuable knowledge is available in books, but many people don't take advantage of it. They miss out on learning how to improve themselves and succeed by not reading these resources. The guy is busy, I guess. You know how it is, you get caught up in things. He says, if you worked where I work, you'd understand. By the time you get home, it's late. You have to buy supper, watch a little TV, and then go to bed. You can't stay up all night reading. And this guy is behind on his car payments. He's a good worker, works hard, and is sincere, but that's not enough. If all you do is work hard and be sincere, you might end up with nothing at the end of your life. You have to be more than a good worker, you have to be a good reader. Spend time with successful people and listen to them. You can also learn from unsuccessful people. Take notes on both the good and the bad. Notes on the negative are called what not to do, and it's important to learn what not to do as well as what to do. So learn from both the positive and the negative. Okay, find out what poor people read and don't read it, right? That's good information. Learn from the negative. You can also learn from positive examples. Spend time with successful people. Listen to what they say and how they say it. This is important. We all have about 16 hours each day when we are awake. Use this time to practice listening. Listening isn't easy, it's actually harder than talking. But if you practice listening during those 16 hours, you'll find that great ideas often come from unexpected places. So make a habit of listening and learning. Here's some of the best advice I can give you. People who are struggling financially should take wealthy people out to dinner and listen to them. That's some of the best I got. If someone isn't doing well, one of the first things they should do is find someone who is successful and offer to buy them dinner. Spend a good amount of money on a nice meal. Go for the full experience. Start with juices and appetizers, move on to a salad, and then have the biggest steak in town. Finish with dessert. Make the meal last about 2 hours. If you can get a successful person to eat and talk for that long, they might share ideas that could change your life and increase your income significantly. But the problem is, poor people usually don't take rich people out to dinner. They think he's rich, let him buy his own dinner. I'm not spending my money on that. Plus, they might say, you don't know my situation. By the time I get home from work, it's late. I'm lucky to get my own dinner, let alone find a rich person to treat. Being a good worker and working hard isn't enough. If all you do is work hard, you might end up broke. You have to be better than just a good worker. You need to be a good listener and remember what you read and hear. Write down the good ideas in a journal so you can use them later. Here's the third way to learn how to change your life. Observe. You can learn a lot just by watching others. Spend time around successful people and pay attention to what they do. Success leaves clues. Watch how people who do well shake hands or how they respond in conversations. Successful people have certain habits and actions they repeat over and over. If you pay close attention, you can pick up on these habits. Observe everything. If someone is making $10,000 a month, watch how they walk. Maybe their walk has something to do with their success. Even if it seems silly, like copying their walk, it might be worth trying. You might not have the money yet, but you can start by copying successful habits. Be unusual by being a good observer. You can gather ideas that can change your life just by being more attentive to what's happening around you. Remember, there are two ways to see. One is with your eyes sight, and the other is with your mind insight. Use both to notice and understand the successful behaviors around you. When you see with your eyes, you notice things. When you see with your mind, you find answers. Use both your eyes and mind actively. The best way to develop both sight and insight is to pay attention and not miss anything. During weekend seminars, we teach that one of the biggest obstacles to success is being preoccupied and unable to concentrate. If your mind wanders, you'll end up average. You need to focus and concentrate. I read a great article in Reader's Digest called "Wherever You Are, Be There." It was excellent advice. Don't miss anything. There is always room to grow, more knowledge to gain, and more skills to perfect. We're never finished with the education process because learning is part of the journey to success. Education and learning are essential for health. Continued education can help you change direction if you're heading the wrong way. We need the mental nourishment that comes from others. We need mental exercise and to open our minds to different ideas. We need to understand and appreciate different sides of an argument to strengthen and defend our own views. It's important to expose ourselves to a wide range of thoughts, philosophies, and ideologies. Listen to various speakers and read different books because no one person or book has all the answers. You can't learn everything you need to know from just one source. We need different influences to give us ideas and help us manage our business, relationships, finances, and time. We should have a variety of books in our library and a variety of tapes in our video and audio collections. We need to hear different voices and perspectives to grow and improve. Here's what we need: a range of viewpoints. Different perspectives are incredibly valuable. When someone asks, "Have you ever seen it from this angle?" and you say no, you then step over to their side and look back at the issue from their perspective. You might think, "Wow, I never considered this before. It's so different. No wonder you see things this way." The key is to make the most of all the mental resources available, both learning and thinking. Always stay eager to learn, no matter how far you've come. Keep that hunger for knowledge alive. Gather as much information as you can. Then discuss it. Put everything on the table and examine it. Analyze it from every angle. Ask questions, make statements, and never assume one person has all the answers. Learn from others, but don't take their word as the only truth. Ensure that your final decisions and methods come from your own understanding and conclusions. That's what really matters, not just blindly following someone else's advice. Consider their input, but make it your own by thinking critically about it. Be curious, take notes, and then debate it. Look at it from all sides. Be a student, not a follower. Building your ambition is a unique journey for each of us. Start by gathering as much knowledge as you can. Then use this knowledge to form your own conclusions. It's important that these conclusions are your own, not someone else's. Don't just adopt other people's philosophies, as they might not be right for you. As you learn, you need to sift through the information and figure out what is truly valuable. This way, you can develop your own philosophy, which will become one of your key guiding principles. Creating your own plan is crucial, as relying on someone else's plan could lead to trouble. It's also important to critically examine the plans, philosophies, and achievement methods of others. Why? Because this shapes how you value your own plan, yourself, and life in general. It even impacts how you respect and use your time the 24 hours each day that we all have to work with. There's a strong link between valuing yourself and respecting time. People who appreciate themselves tend to make good use of their time. Here's an interesting discovery I made. Both rich and poor people have the same 24 hours in a day. This fact can be surprising until you understand what sets them apart. I'm telling you, the difference is in the management of the time. A few simple disciplines practiced every day, your whole life can change. Your future can change. Your income can change.